Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about the future of fully autonomous vehicles. So, about me, my name is Alex Buzgow. I currently work in the automotive industry at Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. I'm familiar with lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and other ADAS features such as collision avoidance, but I have not operated any level 2 autonomous vehicles such as Tesla Autopilot. And I will explain briefly what each of the levels mean. The reason I chose this topic is because every major car maker and even other companies like Apple and Google have been investing billions of dollars into developing this technology, and people have been working on this for the last 10 years or more. Um, Everyone is trying to uh, get their foot in the door and try to come out with a product to compete against everybody else. Uh, and they know that this will be the future of everyday transportation. So here's a kind of a history of autonomous vehicles. I won't go into too much detail just to not take too much time. Um, but it was interesting to see that it began as early as 1977 in this Tsukuba Mechanical Engineering Laboratory, and in '87 in Germany. It was as simple as two optical sensors detecting lane markers and following it at greater and greater speeds. And today we have Tesla Autopilot, which more people are familiar with, and the University of Michigan M-City, which is like a big uh, proving grounds for autonomous vehicles used by multiple manufacturers. And the Audi A8 has Audi AI. It's the first level 3 autonomous production vehicle. So these are the SAE definitions for autonomous driving levels. Level 0 is no automation, and basically what that means is it can issue warnings, and it may momentarily intervene but has no sustained vehicle control. Level 1 is hands-on, so the driver and the system share control of the vehicle. So examples are adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, where steering is automated while speed is under manual control, or vice versa. Um, and basically, the driver must be ready to retake control at any time. Level 2 is hands off, partial automation. This is what Tesla Autopilot has. And basically, the system takes full control of the vehicle, acceleration, braking, steering, but the driver must monitor the driving and be prepared to intervene at any time if the system fails to respond properly. That's why with autopilot, I know that it'll warn you if it detects that your hands aren't on the steering wheel. Level 3 is conditional automation. That's eyes off, so the driver can safely turn their attention away from the driving tasks. And for example, they can text or watch a movie, and the vehicle will handle situations that call for an immediate response, like emergency braking. But the driver must still be prepared to intervene within some limited time. And this is what the newest Audi A8 can do, up to 37 miles per hour. Level 4 automation is like level 3, but no driver attention is ever required. So the driver can go to sleep or leave the driver's seat. The only thing is that this self-driving is supported only in limited spatial areas or under special circumstances like traffic jams. So outside of these areas, the vehicle must be able to safely abort the trip and park the car. Level 5 is basically like fully autonomous. You the car doesn't even need to have brake pedals, gas pedals, a steering wheel. It can do everything under any situation. So here's some of the current challenges. Technical challenges. The sensors can be obstructed by heavy rain or snow. So many of today's systems still use optical sensors to detect objects, cars, lane striping, and heavy rain or snow can basically disable them. Uh, Currently, advanced algorithms are required to determine the intentions of pedestrians, cyclists, animals, and other drivers. Um, these things can sometimes be very unpredictable, and I don't think we've reached a level of software advanced enough to make these same split-second decisions as a human brain can. Also, the car's computer could be compromised by a cyber attack, so somebody could take over the steering, or who knows what they can do. Also, there's a lot of legal compliance and strict government regulations regarding testing and development of these vehicles. They currently have to get permits to test on public roads, and they're very limited and very strict, I guess. So another thing is the infrastructure. So for the system to work on a mass scale, we would need like special lane striping, additional markers built into roads with the car's current systems. Also, if more and more vehicles become autonomous, they can take up more of the road and safely. They don't have to have as far of a following distance. If they can communicate with each other, they can drive faster. So this will mean more vehicles on the road. So if these aren't electric vehicles, this could mean more pollution, and tougher to find parking in bigger cities. And then if the EV route is taken, a mass charging network would need to be developed. So here's some public perception I wanted to include, just to kind of illustrate that not everyone is really on board with the entire autonomous vehicle experience yet. So only 16% of respondents would feel comfortable letting an autonomous vehicle drive them without the option of being able to take control. 61% of adult internet users say they are not inclined to even ride in a self-driving car. 33% of drivers believe semi-autonomous driving technologies such as automated park assist, self-driving autopilot, and lane departure sensors would make them safer drivers. So not really a lot of faith in these systems yet, and I kind of attribute it to all of the accidents that have been publicized, of people using Tesla autopilot, usually incorrectly. They'll fall asleep or read a book when the system tells them that they cannot do that, to put their hands back on the wheel and pay attention to the road, and accidents can happen. And there's also an incident in Tucson where Uber self-driving test car killed a pedestrian that was crossing the road at night. So some potential advantages: there could be less traffic collisions resulting in death, injuries, and cost. According to the IIHS, 37,000 people died in 2017 due to traffic collisions. So that is, to me, a shocking number. Even if we could bring that down by like 50%, that would be massive. And I think if all the cars are in a network communicating with each other, and basically all the cars on the road are autonomous, we can almost completely eliminate car accidents. So another thing is it could minimize traffic congestion. So as I mentioned earlier, if all cars on the road are automated, they have vehicle-to-vehicle communication, traveling speeds can be increased, safety gaps can be reduced. So there was a study that showed that they can make more use of the road by 5.5 times. So the capacity can increase by 5.5 times. And I think in cities like LA, Chicago, New York, this would basically get rid of traffic without the need to expand roads and add more lanes. Another thing is that it would lower car insurance to drivers. If the vehicles are not getting into any accidents, the rates should be much cheaper in theory. And also this would allow for more time for leisure work for current drivers. They can relax during their commute to work. They can sleep. They can read. They can work. That'll be very convenient. And people could live farther from their jobs because now the drive won't be as bad. They can just go back to sleep as soon as they get back in their car. Some potential disadvantages. So humans will drive less and their proficiency and experience will diminish. So if for any reason the vehicle asks them to intervene, this could lead to some trouble. So this could also result in a very large loss of jobs for people who currently work in the truck and taxi industry. They, will pretty much be replaced by these self-driving vehicles because it'll be much, much cheaper to have a machine do this than to pay a person to do it. Also, a software malfunction could cause a more serious crash than any sort of human error would. Say, for example, the software malfunctions and causes a car to sharply turn off of a bridge or into an oncoming semi. That's a lot more serious than any human-related error like not paying attention and rear-ending the car in front of them. This also could be used as a weapon for terrorism. Somebody could just load it with explosives and send it to a location. So here's some business and industry implications that I foresee. So auto manufacturers will invest more and more money into these vehicle programs as they become mainstream. Currently, everyone is competing for the top spot as this industry is booming, and in my opinion, they're just going to keep putting more and more money into it as it becomes more popular and people start buying more of these vehicles. On the other hand, they could also lose business if less people are buying vehicles and using driverless ride sharing. I'm sure it'll be much cheaper and much more convenient than it currently is. So ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft will also be huge customers of this technology. They could buy entire fleets of vehicles if they aren't already developing their own technology. And even if they are developing their technology, they would still have to buy the vehicles to use to outfit with these sensors and whatever technology they would use. So lower amounts of accidents could cause big financial losses for the healthcare and vehicle repair industries. Obviously, a great thing if we can avoid accidents and deaths. Bad news for those industries, though. That's how they make their money. And with car travel being much more leisurely, people will be more receptive to taking short road trips on the weekends. So this could hurt airline companies and help hotel companies. So my vision of autonomous vehicles by the year 2100. So, what I think is that by the end of the century, most or all cars on the road will be fully autonomous. An infrastructure will have to be set up for them so that they do not have to rely on 3D maps constantly being updated. Instead, RFID markers can be placed along roads, lane markers, etc., so the vehicle can easily tell what is what. Also, auto accidents will be almost non-existent. All cars on the road will be able to communicate with each other in order to avoid any accidents. Level 5 cars are probably at least a decade away, and lawmakers will need to be convinced that a human driving car is more dangerous than a level 5 vehicle before they ever go on sale. That I'm pretty sure of. And that's it. That's my presentation, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.